The video game industry has always dominated the market of entertainment, as far as recreational activities are concerned, and is reported by a recent study to net worth $91.5 billion in the industry of gaming. Amongst youngsters and even some people up to the ages of 60 years and over have been fascinated, intrigued, engrossed and kept busy for hours and hours on end, and has somewhat considerably a great and stimulating social addiction, as opposed to youngsters who rather find enjoyment in drugs, alcohol and unprotected sex. Is the decades of gaming advanced up until this day, the demand of graphics and new gaming trends are increasing as we speak, sometimes more than the gaming industry can supply. Electronic gaming and 3D graphics have been introduced worldwide as the next best thing on the entertainment markets since the 1980s. If you're a dedicated hardcore stone-cold video gamer, such as myself, then you will immediately be able to identify and relate to the 10 best open-world video games of all time, listed below. 10. Sims Castaway. Everybody wants to be a cool sim in this game. The Sims series has been one of the most exciting games to play, which is a simulation of a series of real life and people and how they interact with one another on a daily basis, and sort of puts you in a real life situation overall. Everybody who played the Sims game series and collection would have known the enjoyment they found while taking the role of a sim, customizing the clothing, inviting friends over, hosting pool parties and BBQs, etc. These can be done in several sim episodes altogether. Sims Castaway, on the other hand, is a part of the game series which I, as well as many around the world, have enjoyed to great lengths. It all begins with a fancy yacht party that turned over to shreds in a storm, scattering different Sims all over the shore and all over the Lost Island. The game gets extremely exciting when the main Sim character has to venture off into the treacherous unknown in order to relocate the other Sims who were on board the yacht, as well as to put everybody back together in one piece. To take on the responsibility of one-man lone wolf survivor is really something that an alpha male of a personality would have to handle. In Sims Castaway, one can also interact with animals along the way, etc., while being up to alerts in order to protect other Sims, etc. 9. Far Cry 2. Picture Africa, the Serengeti, and a one-man army mercenary who has been deployed to the lost of Africa's war-torn parts, who came all the way from America and has to practically live in the jungle of wild killer stray dogs and ambushing enemies, ready to attack from any point, unseen, unheard, and from even under your nose, under ghillie suits, and you wouldn't even know. This is purely where the excitement and thrill of the game comes in, as the Africans holding AK-47s and automatic fire machine guns are as deadly as they can get as the player advances throughout the game. Far Cry 2 has an IGN rating of 8.9/10 within the categories and analysis of gameplay, popularity and graphics, etc. The dramatic upbeat African jungle theme and music, if enabled, will be to an enhanced effect, incurring fear, causing the player to be sharp throughout gameplay and extremely vigilant too. 8. SimCity 4. When we speak about 10 of the best open-world video, a larger city to roam around in and explore as well. For those of you who enjoy nostalgic vibes from visual and sound effects in terms of video games and appreciate a classic 80s Miami Vice setup and theme, then this is definitely one for you. The game centers around the main protagonist, Victor Vance, and getting unfairly debadged from the military by corrupt Sergeant Jerry Martinez, and his road to redemption thereafter, which is somewhat exciting to unfold as he advances through the game. He must fight to build himself up again the moment he leaves the military gates. Some of the cars have gotten older and more definition has been added to the city, characters, trees, gameplay, music, etc. Big improvement from Liberty City Stories 5. Hitman Absolution has an IGN game rating of 910. Can you imagine the life of a few men chosen and trained at birth and put up to the most deadliest and life-threatening levels of training, at which, if they pass, the selected few who eventually make it will be bald, barcoded at the back of their heads, erased of all emotional, mental and any normal quality, named and referred to as the barcode numbers throughout the duration of the lifetime by whomever has trained them into the League of Hitman Assassins, and has been born and bred for the sole and ultimate purpose of contract killing on specific targets assigned to each number, and each dying at specific time coordinates, or possibly all simultaneously, as each hitman strategically closes in on their enemy. Dressed in sharp suits and a distinctive red tie and carrying around an M1911 pistol most certainly trademarks the easily identifiable appearance of the main character in all the Hitman series. The game ultimately spans into different exciting, thrilling, hard action scenes of requiring the player to switch from stealth to extreme violence using multiple moves to attack and neutralize opponents, as well as going ghost in order to avoid being detected by enemy target until breaching and compromising his quiet position and going super hitman on everybody and everything within the vicinity of his path. The game is absolutely exciting as we advance him throughout the storyline of the game. Nothing will stop this man from accomplishing his mission at hand, and will only rest until the successful annihilation of each target. But the big question is, what happens when each hitman agent are contracted to kill each other? Can you imagine what a battle this would be, having all these men trained at birth to follow a code of honor, silence and precision, target sights and fire? It's up to the main character to dominate, counteract and win. The dominating trend of 10 of the best open-world video games of all times is surely Grand Theft Auto, but different editions of the series overall. Each are ranked by the advancement in graphics, gameplay and everything that allows more features of the realistic open world. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, on the other hand, unlike previous ones, has been the most popular amongst gamers, especially for PlayStation 2 and in the time where computer graphics cards were low-end but considered as something top-class of the time. Here I'm speaking about 2004 in GTA 6 worldwide release. Whether it is hitting the gym, lifting weights, hardcore street African-American thug gang banging, visiting strip clubs, defeating other gang members and gaining turf, hijacking cars, vans, bikes, customizing vehicles to some gangster levels, listening to classic 90s rap music, stealing and derailing trains, flooring the accelerator of a 4x4 on the old country dusty roads from state to state, or simply using cheat codes to spawn a helicopter, a jetpack and fly off every time police are shooting at you. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas has it all. Definitely one of the best open-world video games of all time, and still more than a decade of its release today, still popular amongst gamers and will quite frankly never get old. Playing as Carl Johnson CJ in Los Santos, who is a two-pack-looking nigger that represents territorial values and is extremely ghetto gangster in his demeanor. The storyline unfolds as he comes back to his hometown and reconnects with his old gang, as well as recruits newer members on the way as he sees the betrayal of his family by the homies he once held dear to him. He also encounters several weirdos and corrupt police officers along the way, ends up time and time again in jail, hospital if you don't look after him or watch your back. Rival gang members also shoot you unexpectedly just to test your survival skills, so be careful. San Andreas is double the size of Liberty City and Vice City put together, as the player is able to move through in 3 different states with endless things to do, too many fast cars to steal, as well as rare items to collect around the game, which is more than enough to keep a player busy even well past completing main storyline missions. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas never gets old and is still played by many today, with upgraded mods to the game of course, made by dedicated GTA fans, and ranks 9.310 on IGN. 3. Call of Duty Black Ops 1. There is definitely no other Army or first-person shooter game other than the Army titles out there that can place you as a human character into the plot and storyline of the nail-biting, seat-gripping action and realism of open-world Call of Duty game series in general, where you feel ultimately as though you have fought each and every war of every game played and sort of see oneself as a soldier or retired ex-marine afterwards. This is where the advancement of realistic open-world gaming comes in. Just like Medal of Honor, which is another war video game, Call of Duty on the other hand is of absolute no difference in terms of gameplay, plot, character styles and movements, etc. Call of Duty Black Ops specifically tells the story of a man being interrogated and mimics certain real-life historical events and speaks of real countries with realistic human names, etc. The game tells the story of where the player is taken back to the 60s, where he is required to fight in Vietnam as well as other wars decades later, which brings him to modern day at which the interrogation is taking place. It has been, however, the most adventurous, realistic, exciting, thrilling and suspenseful game ever, as it surely does take you around the most dangerous places of the world and back. The ability in itself, which allows the player to be a respected and sub-commanding soldier who must fight the worst of wars around the globe in the most war-torn areas, depicts it better than some war movies, I would say. While playing the game, the experience of being open-world in a realistic real-world setup to perform stealth and loud attacks in different ways is the most greatest feeling any gamer could feel, especially when the Game credits appear in the end with the victory music playing. Mission success, magnanimous victory. The main character is able to switch between his guns, use other people's guns when ammo runs out, run, jump and crawl and do basic things, but despite not being able to hijack vehicles etc., the gameplay is extremely mesmerizing and real. Check out gameplay here. You're one man with the help of your army battalion, but every man for themselves, every man to defend their own lives. What will you do when placed in the center of World War? Will you emerge victorious or die a man of honor? Given a fallen brother's country funeral, step it, pick up the pace, command and conquer, grit the dust, patch those wounds, use every last breath in your body to complete the mission, even if it's the last thing you do too. Grand Theft Auto 4 Episodes of Liberty City. This is a sequel to Grand Theft Auto 4, and the beauty of it is that it comes with a pack of 2 full games in one. Game 1 is GTA Lost and Damned, and Game 2 is GTA Ballads of the Gay Tony. If you buy the game, you are getting double the awesomeness from both. Both are utterly different contrasts of each other, however. Ballad of the Gay Tony represents the glamorous, glittery, starlight and party lifestyle, while the Lost and Damned centers around a dark, satanic and lost type of theme altogether. The release of these games in one go shocked fans all over the world, as just when we thought Grand Theft Auto 4 was the real deal in terms of using a more advanced graphic engine as opposed to the other ones that the previous games were created with, GTA 4 EFLC Episodes of Liberty City jumped into play with a hint of upgraded digital universe than IV did. We have noticed plenty of bug fixes, music updates and city as well as pedestrian and character changes which shot gaming to the realest it could have gotten at the time. Lost and Damned is about a biker gang leader, Johnny Kleberts, who is a heavy metal rock listening, Harley Davidson riding, leather jacket, baseball bat carrying and snubby shotgun shooting lunatic who rides dirty and dusty and lives on his own yet tries to be friendly now and then. While the Lost gang lives more of a rough, rugged and biker-centered lifestyle, while main character of the total opposite of that life is Luis Fernando Lopez of Ballad of the Gay Tony, who works for Tony himself but isn't the gay one. His duty is to manage all the clubs of Tony as well as make a name for himself. Being a Dominican-styled character, Luis Lopez can be taken to clubs that are super realistic in terms of European setups and women, booze, music etc. The cars are classier, and the overall graphics has flourished to a moderately fair share of realism this time. A huge jump from the box type, same move all the time type of graphics in previous GTA games. The city is much larger than San Andreas 2. 1. Grand Theft Auto 5. Yes, I know that Grand Theft Auto strikes again, but this time with total much more realism, which is absolutely as close to reality and high-definition next-gen gaming as gaming and graphics could ever get. GTA 5 is the best open-world video games of all time, if not the best video game as it stands. Depending on what genre of games you fancy to play. The Rockstar Games franchise has really went to space and beyond with the release of this specific Grand Theft Auto title as compared to the rest of the series. Quite frankly, when this one came out, the rest sincerely became dead and ultimately didn't matter, as the graphics advancement in real time this time has trumped every other GTA game ever created. The world of hardcore GTA fans know this too. GTA 5 can be considered as the best game on the planet simply due to the endless features, possibilities, and you never run out of things to do ever, which simply means, after you finish your storyline missions, there are also random strangers scattered across the game, all with different sorts of crazy and weird personalities who ultimately become your friend and offer certain services specific to each player. When you have accomplished that, you may also dive into an ocean, which is another world on its own apart from the open world of the city you can roam in, which has roads that never seem to end also. In the ocean you can encounter sharks, fish, dolphins, find treasure. To make it even more real-life like, GTA 5 has also for the first time ever included animals too and various different mythical creatures in the game as well. The transport system falls under the categories of air, land and water, which includes almost every known vehicle that's been built for these different terrains. The people actually have personalities, families that you can actually live and interact with. The skin texture is as real as a normal person. Clothing is a variety for all three characters. Yes, 3 different characters, Trevor, Michael, Franklin, can be switched and played with, each with their very own personalities, and lives to lead for the first time in GTA history. How freaking cool is that? You've sincerely got to play the game to understand why it is the greatest ever created as far as next-gen gaming is concerned. The game's release saw a staggering $815 million of sales in the first day of official release, as well as people who have pre-purchased it when they knew it was going to come out on a certain date. GTA 5's record has never been broken and is still yet to be broken, as it's unconventional, unmatched and unparalleled, dominating every video game in the gaming industry where high-definition graphics and popularity is concerned. Everything from the vehicles, city buildings and roads, overall infrastructure, water reflections, character definition and detail, storyline, gameplay, sound effects and everything else is a direct and most realistic simulation of real life and modern America as we know it. The verdict is that nothing as it stands beats GTA 5 in terms of realistic graphics. Just to let you know, GTA 6 is set to release in the near future. Can you imagine the advancement the world will see after that? GTA 5 has been given a 10/10 rating by IGN, which is really not a surprise, as it's truly earned it and speaks for itself. You may watch a trailer of GTA 5 here.